All right, Barry, go ahead and show us how we use Search.Twitter and some of these other things to build our follower list. Go ahead and, I mean, you go ahead and take over. I'll let you run the show from here now because this is your domain. So
Okay. Yeah. So, for instance, let's say that we always use the example, I guess, that your niche is scuba, for instance. So I'm just going to go to search. This is search.twitter.com, and I'm going to type in the word scuba. There. And you'll see right away. Here are two people talking. Any idea why RPD scuba squad diving river? I have no idea what they're talking about. That doesn't matter. If you're into scuba, you probably get it. And down here, it's like you're going scuba diving this weekend. Would you say that's a pretty tight prospect if you're a scuba? If you sell scuba gear, scuba stuff, scuba regulation videos. A lot of people are. It seems like there's a thing that, it seems like there's sort of a trend already where people are talking about regulation. So maybe if you got a product on regulations of scuba. But anyway, the bottom line is here's a ton of people talking about scuba diving.
now show exactly. Yeah, show exactly how you would go about following that person.
Sure. Well, you got two different kinds of people, okay? So you have a conversation going on. Those are my favorites because you sort of get a twofer there. Here are two people talking about this squad diving.
Right, and you actually could even enter into that conversation.
Oh yeah,
right?
I'd try to. If I had the answer to this question or if I knew anything about it, I would definitely enter into it. And all you do is basically just click there and you're on that person's profile. Now, were I logged into Twitter right now? I'm not logged in, but if you were logged in, it would take you right there, and you can just go down here.
Why don't you go ahead and let's pause the video real quick. Go ahead and log in because I don't want people to see your keystrokes. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so here I'm. This did send me over the right way now from search.twitter.com, and I'm on this person's page. I'm logged in, so you'll notice there's a gray follow button that pops up under the name of the person here. I was going to click that button, and boy, that was tough. Now I'm following this person. So now.
And just so we're clear, so at this point the hope would be, and because your profile is something like marketing black sheep marketer with a
she may not follow me back.
She may not follow you back because it is so different. But I mean, if his profile you can see right there on the bio, if you can kind of point to that, Perry, on the bio area, if he was like lover of all things scuba in there, when she saw that, this guy Perry Belcher followed me, if he referenced
she's actually
scuba
an
diving,
NPO marketing director, so that's okay.
Yeah,
so that may work out after all. But you're right. It depends on how well you mesh. One thing I really like here is that she only follows. This is an important point that I think a lot of people miss. She only follows 262 people. I would prefer her to be on my list over somebody that has a lot of people. Because when I send a message, it's going to set in her timeline a long time.
Right.
It's going to last longer.
Because there's not more people who are going to kind of go over
they're
top
pushing
of
it out.
Right.
So the people that have lower time numbers but still are active tend to be the best people to have follow you because they get your messages, they get a chance to read them.
Yeah, and if you look, she's got 333 updates, which isn't too bad, and she's updated a good number of times here. I mean, she just updated.
So she's a pretty active user overall.
Okay, so show how you would enter the conversation. You don't have to actually send this person a tweet or anything, but there was a conversation going on between this lady right here and somebody else. That was how we found him on search.twitter. And actually, go back to the search.twitter page real quick so we can show people that there was a conversation.
Yeah, you can see who it's between, but when you go back over here, you can see that here's the conversation. That's the last tweet she made. So right here, she's saying, any idea why RPD Scuba Squad River, if they're... Any idea why RPD Scuba Squad Diving River near Corn Hill? This doesn't make any sense, by the way, but that's okay. I couldn't answer this question because no human alive could answer.
But if you could answer the question,
but if I could, I would just. So now I'm following her, right? So it doesn't matter if I'm following her or not. I can still answer the question. I would just click on here. I'd go over into my timeline and I would answer the question.
Yeah, you might say, I got no idea how to answer that question, but I love scuba too.
What I would probably do, actually, which would be smarter, is I would probably grab this and hit copy, and then I'd go right here and put that right behind there, and I would answer the question for both people at the same time. Then I would follow both of them.
Yeah, because when you put that at and then somebody's name, now they're going to see in the replies area. Can you go into the replies area of yours?
Sure. Hopefully I haven't. Let me see. What have I got? Oh, here. I'm going to learn how to use this thing. Okay, here's my replies. They keep changing the way it looks.
Yeah.
So, yeah, here's my reply. So here's some stuff that, every time your name is used, like right here, my name is used.
But people
Right
do
here.
absolutely check their replies. I mean, people look, because Twitter is very conversational, so in replying to both of those people, even if they weren't following you, they would still see that. And so
Absolutely.
that's a good way to get somebody's attention, even if you're not following them, is to at their name, because people do look for that, especially if they've only got a few hundred followers.
Yeah, whether you follow them or not, whether they follow you or not, and then if they see that you've made a comment or joined a conversation, then they get a follower notice from you. They're like, "Oh yeah, that's that guy I talked to yesterday." Or, "That's that guy I
And
talked
now
to
now the chance, if you follow them and then enter into a conversation with them, the chance that they're going to
goes from about 30% to 60% right away. I mean, you'll get 30. You'll go from normally if you just go blanketly follow a whole lot of people, about 30% of them will follow you back. If you do it this way, about 60% will follow you back. Usually, if you've entered a conversation, sometimes as much as 70% will follow you back right away.
Okay, so that's kind of how you use search.twitter for just searching for markets. Now, let's do another example. Let's say I'm in the golf market, because another good way to search for it is by like product names.
Yeah.
So you were showing me before, if you were to type in.
Yeah, let's do Nike driver.
Yeah.
Because maybe you sell, maybe you sell Nike drivers.
Or maybe you don't. Maybe you just sell golf,
Yeah.
Tips. Somebody who's talking about Nike drivers is a golf enthusiast.
When you're in products, you're going to get a lot of people. You're going to get a lot of companies promoting. If you'll notice, there are people here promoting.
Now, are those people? Should you follow those people or no?
It depends. You might find JV partners there. You might find.
That's a good point.
There's possibility like this person here. I think they just. I don't know. We'll click on it and see. Yeah, I guess she's just showing the world that she's sending you over to. There's one for sale. She may have that eBay auction. Some people use Twitter, by the way, to make money from eBay, which is a pretty cool thing. I noticed down here though, this person says, I took over a driver from my friend. It's a Nike Sumo. So there's somebody that's I guess a Sumo is a kind of Nike.
Yeah,
driver.
a Sumo is a type of driver.
So this is a person who's, I guess, took over. Maybe she borrowed it from a friend. So there's somebody that's digging. So there's an ability to do this all over the place. You can look at products. You can look up, if you've got somebody that's like, let's say you're into motivational stuff, right? You can see, who's been talking. But here's people who are quoting Tony Robbins.
Yeah, if somebody's quoting Tony Robbins.
They're probably Tony Robbins motivational kind of people. So they may be people that you want to get on your list if you are into motivational products. This is where you can be creative and really just go all over the place with it.
And now how long?
Let me show you one more. Can I show you one more little cool thing?
Oh yeah.
Let's say for instance.
No, absolutely not. We'll save that for the upsell.
Yeah. Let's say for instance that you're a dentist or a realtor or a doctor or insurance salesman or car salesman or whatever. You want to get to know people in your local area. This is one of my favorite little bitty tricks right here. Quotations, live in Austin. Quotations. And search that at Twitter. See, as live in Austin. Here, I live in Austin, Texas. Why I don't live in Austin, Texas. I can't write it, Live in Austin, here are people who are talking about that they live in Austin, Texas.
Right.
So if you want to go through and just come up with a message that you can send to them and say, hey, I followed you. I saw you live in Austin too. I live here too. Hey, I just want to say hi.
Yeah, so that's
just
good.
Being local is a good reason.
Building a local list of followers.
And believe it or not, people really discount the power of that. Having a local list is fantastic because my local people are very responsive with me here in Austin, and there's actually a hot dog cart or a sandwich cart now or a taco cart I think it is in Los Angeles, and they built this big list in LA of Twitter people, and they hide their taco truck or whatever it is, and they only come out certain times of the day, and they'll park somewhere, and then they'll Twitter out that we're at this place. And that gets retweeted, and they just get these huge lines of hundreds of people that buy their tacos because they're only there we're going to be here for 59 minutes. And 59 minutes later, they pull the door down and they leave.
That's pretty phenomenal.
And it's incredible.
That's a really good idea.
What applications and uses there are of Twitter right now.
Now, okay, so I can see how somebody might be thinking, all right, great, search.twitter, it seems like it'd be easier to find people to follow, but, I got to go through and, follow these people one by one. How long does this take to do? I mean, if you're doing this...
I have a little Mac Air, a little light laptop, and when I first started, I sat it in my lap, and watch TV. And I could watch an episode of CSI and follow 400 or 500 people.
Right. I mean, so
it doesn't
really,
take that long.
And it's very passive.
Now, you don't want to follow 400 or 500 people your first day,
right?
Because you'll get kicked off. You gotta pace it up. But we'll talk about that in a minute.
Yeah, but that's the whole point. This is a passive deal. I mean, get a laptop, sit in your lap, and do it at night because, well, like we talked about, evenings are the best time anyway. So go out there in the evenings while you're watching TV, and actually make a little bit of money during a time when you would otherwise just be sitting around doing nothing. So that's search.twitter. Let's talk about now. We also talked about using open source.
Yeah,
so
sure.
So other people's lists to find things, and you got a really
I got a good story on that. Yeah, because I have a client that's in they sell organic food, organic gardening stuff, and a bunch of stuff on how to choose organic foods and even grow your own organic foods, just everything about organic foods. So they became a client of mine. I spoke at an event. They became a client of mine, and finally they called me one day for a strategy session. They said, "No, Perry, I don't think it's going to work out for us. We don't know enough. We can't find people that are passionate about organic foods." And
because they were trying to use this search.twitter thing, right?
Yeah, for organic foods. I don't need organic foods. Well, there's some of that. I mean, if we go look at, there's probably some people that do talk about. Yeah, there's some people talking about organic foods, but well, actually quite a lot. But anyway. But the simpler strategy for them, I told them, was there's a thing called Whole Foods Market. This is Whole Foods, I think. Whole Foods Market is the largest chain in the country. I wanted to see if they had tweeted anything. They haven't tweeted anything all day.
I think it's Whole Foods.
Is that right?
I think it's Whole Foods, plural.
I think you're right.
There you go.
They've probably got somebody up there. Somebody's tweeted them. Maybe not. But anyway, so Whole Foods. This is their profile. So we'll go over to their profile at Twitter, and this is what I showed them that just blew them away. Right? Whole Foods Market. They've got a logo for their picture. Are you more interesting than a logo? I'll bet. The main thing that they send out are coupons and a few little tweets every now and then. They tweet once or twice a day. It's no big deal. But here is the cool part. Would you say that people who go to Whole Foods Market are pretty interested in eating organic foods or things that are better for them?
That's the whole point of Whole Foods Market.
Whole point. Yeah. So they only have 1,011,559 followers.
God, that is insane.
And you can only go in and just grab them like going, you just click your thing and I want to add this person. So boom, so I just followed them. They may follow me back. Now, if I want, all I got to do is be more interesting than a logo, be more interesting than a coupon.
Right.
Okay. It ain't that big a deal. This is the big secret to. I think I just lost. I'm jumping you all over. If I'm driving you crazy, I'm sorry. but you'll see that that's the whole idea. All you got to do is be more interesting than a logo.
Well, and you saw. I mean, so go back to their follower list. Click on it again.
Yeah.
I mean,
I got another
how
point
easy it is to follow people. Now, I'm seeing there's some people that don't have photos.
And really, if they have a name, like if they put their real name there, I sometimes will follow them anyway. I used to have a rule of not following people with logos, but I'll tell you what, if they have a name, if they're putting out like Lauren Sands, this is probably just a nice person who hasn't really got started good yet. So I may follow them. You can click on their profile and go over and look. In this case, they don't have any tweets or any updates. I'm probably not going to follow them back.
Yeah.
Because why would I? I mean, they don't have anything really to offer me. That's why it's important that before you start following people, I always tell people have at least 5 tweets in your Twitter list, and 10's even better. And if you want to make 5, just talk about the movie you watched last night. Talk about what you had for lunch. Ask somebody a question. Tell somebody your favorite quote. Ask people what their favorite Beatles song is or whatever. And yeah, you're tweeting to nobody. I get it. And it kind of seems silly. I have 0 followers. Oh, I'm going to tell the world about this. The point is, as you get followers, they'll go back and read your timeline.
Right. And the worst thing you could do if you're into Whole Foods is just to have every tweet be like, I love this organic food, and I love this organic food, and I just went shopping and bought some organic food. Like, you should have things that aren't directly related, and we're going to talk in the next set of videos about, kind of the ratio of talking about your topic versus not. So we'll get to what you tweet in just a second. So don't worry about that for now. All right, Perry, I know one other cool little trick that I want to show everybody is how you can actually kind of snipe your competitor's follower list. So let's go ahead and show an example of that as well. Let's go back to the whole thing. We talked about Tony Robbins before, and there's probably people watching us right now who are into, who would love nothing more than have Tony Robbins' list. So let's go ahead and just see exactly how we could go and snipe some of Tony's.
I'm not sure Tony's not. Oh, there he is. Well, of course he is.
You do want to make sure that it's the real person.
Yeah. And it's probably him since he has 961,469 followers.
Yeah.
Kind of makes me feel like a bubble, right? But a pimple on the butt of Twitter. But anyway, but he has 961,000 followers. And if you want Tony's best people, here's how hard it is to do. You click on that. And you just go through here and
now he's got 900. So somebody's gonna be like, so 961,000 people. Where do I even start?
You start right here because these are the people that followed him the most recently.
There you go.
That's really important that you don't drill down too far because you're probably going to waste a whole lot of time drilling down.
Yeah, and with these big people, at the rate that they're adding followers, I mean, you could probably follow just the first page today of him. And then come back tomorrow, and he's going to have a new first page because he's adding so many new followers.
Oh, he's going to have a new. I bet he has a new first page by the time we refresh. I don't know, but there you go. Look at that.
Yeah,
that's how many people he's added. He's added in that few seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4. He added 4 new people that you could jam onto your list.
Yeah.
In how long? 10 seconds.
Yeah. I mean that you could probably just sit there and just do nothing but click Tony's refresh list.
Yes.
And we're not again. If you're into scuba diving, then sniping Tony Robbins' follower list is not a good idea.
Right.
But I mean, if you're into self-help or motivational topics, then it might be a good idea. So finding that 800-pound gorilla in your market who you say, gosh, if I could only do a joint venture with this person, if only this person would mail for me. I mean, you don't need them to do that. All of the lists on Twitter are open source, and the people following these folks on Twitter, like Perry already said, are their biggest and best fans. So, Perry, is there any other things that people should know about following before we kind of move on?
No, I think that's really it. I mean, I've done other things before, but these are the mainstays.
And when it comes to, you mentioned earlier about the number of people that you can follow. I know Twitter.
Yeah, I try to follow. If you're beginning, if you've got a brand new account, follow 50 people a day until you get to 500. This is my rule, and everybody's ever followed this has never had.
Okay, so this is the time, by the way. If you haven't printed out your handouts, you're going to want to pause and print out your handouts and write this down because this is golden info. So go ahead.
Yeah, 50 people a day in the beginning. Follow about 50 people a day. I usually give people 3 or 4 days to follow me back. If they don't follow me back, I delete them out so that I have room to follow more people. Because you never want your following to follower ratio to be really out of whack. In other words, you don't want to be following 2,000 people and only 9 people are following you back.
Right.
It makes you look like a scalper or whatever. So you don't want to do that. That's number one. Number two. Once I reach 500, I tell my clients once they reach 500 people on their list, then they should follow 10% of their list a day. So in other words, when you reach 600 people, start following 60 a day. When you reach 1,000 people, start following 100 a day. When you reach 2,000 people, 200 a day, and so on and so forth. And if you do that, you're pretty safely within the limits of Twitter, and you're probably never going to have any problems.
Yeah. So that's kind of how that goes. And again, this is about, in this case, it really is about quality, not quantity. And we're going to be, because they're so new, because they're so fresh, and because how we're going to be showing you later on to extract these people from Twitter and put them onto your onto your main opt-in list. So with that, now that you understand how to follow people, let's go over to step 2.